There is a moment in every life when you decide to rise, to stand taller than your fear, to speak louder than your doubt, to chase the vision that sets your soul on fire. This is that moment. And here, we walk it together with stories that awaken, voices that inspire, and truths that set you free. This is Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where hope has a voice, and that voice is yours. And welcome to the show, everybody. My name is, of course, you know, it's Kevin, and there's Brachelle right there. Brachelle, how are you today? You're in the mountains.
Oh man, do I wish I was sitting directly in the mountains. Yesterday was hugging trees, so it's always a good day. I think it's definitely on where you guide your mentality through the day, but I'm very excited. We have a huge week ahead of us and lots to come forward and succeed. And to end the show with this wonderful Monday, we have Shiraz with us. He has a website. Go check it out. It's energeticmagic.com. And he is a reality interventionalist. So thank you for being here, Shiraz. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Brachelle. Thank you for having me on the show.
Shiraz, I got to ask you, I've done a lot of interviews with a lot of interesting people. I've never heard of a reality interventionist. Would you explain what that is and how you utilize reality to become an interventionalist, if that makes any sense?
So sometimes, if someone's got a drug problem or alcohol problem, you have an intervention. Right? You're hurting yourself, you're hurting other people. This needs to stop. People do that for their reality, and they don't even realize they're doing it. So I come in and I say, look, this is hurting you, and it has to stop. And it's what you think is just life. Like, you're going through struggle all the time. You're like, well, life is a struggle. I'm like, no, it's not. You're actually addicted to the struggle. Right? Or, you're trying to make a lot of money, you can't seem to do it. And I said, well, you're actually addicted to the lack of money. And people are like, what? No, that's not how it works. But it actually is. You get addicted to all these different components of your life. And once you realize why you're addicted, there's always an underlying reason for the addiction. You can remove that addiction and your life just starts to change. Your whole reality will shift.
It will shift in a very positive way, because what you're now doing is, well, help me here. I think a lot of people have addictions and they are unhappy that they have addictions, and they would like to solve their addictions, but they have no earthly idea how. Or they have a tough day and it's, okay, I'm going to go have a ding dong or a Twinkie, or I'm going to go have a 6-pack of beer, or I'm going, whatever your drug of choice is. How do you help people recognize that that doesn't have to be, that they can change who they are, and that ultimately changes what they are and what they can become and all of those things, doesn't it?
Yep. So the first thing to realize is that any consistent outcome in your life is an addiction. So if you're constantly struggling, that's an addiction. If your partners keep cheating on you, that's an addiction. Right? If you, whatever level of income you have, that's an addiction. And people don't realize that. So when I'm working with someone, let's say they want to make more money, I'll ask a question like, would you like to make an extra $100,000 every year? And the answer is always, yes, of course, that would be wonderful. As we start to dig down, things start to come up. So it's like, are you okay if you're making all that money and people come up and say, hey, Kevin, can you take care of me now because you got all the money? Can you invest in my company? Can you give to my charity? And if people are like, I don't want that to happen, I said, okay, well, you just had an emotional reaction. Your mind protects you from emotional reaction and wants to keep you out of emotional distress. And it will find the simplest solution to avoid that emotional distress. So if you don't want people asking you for money, your mind says, well, let's just not have money. Then they can't. Problem solved. Right?
I got to ask you, because this has come up before. First of all, I need to do this because Samuel is from Kenya, and he operates a company and he helps kids, do stuff like, I don't know, eat and stuff. Because in Kenya, it's a bit of a thing, having enough food and having enough water and that kind of stuff. And Brachelle found out what he does. He didn't even tell us.
No, I found his organization. If you go to my Facebook page, you will see Samuel. Go look at his as well. He's doing amazing things. And thank you for joining us in, Samuel, and your whole organization. We love you so much, and stay with us through the show as well. He's been here all day.
All right.
And you are being heard by an entire village in Kenya. Didn't expect that when you got here, did you?
Not. Happy about it.
So, so I got to ask you, because we're talking about addictions and how the underlying cause may be something completely different. I'll give you an example. If somebody is predominantly female and
Mhm.
they've been traumatized in the past, and so what they decide to do deep down inside is, I'm going to take my body to a place where I'm not going to be desirable to anyone,
Yes.
because then I don't have to worry about people coming on to me the way whatever happened before happened. That's
Yes.
a thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's also an addiction.
Yes.
So you have an inciting incident that creates that. Then they change their body to feel safe. Then their reticular activating system looks for news about women that are assaulted. And so now when they hear the news, they go, see, that's why I need to stay this way. And they get a hit of dopamine. And every time that comes up, they get another hit and another hit and another hit. Right. And so now there's an addiction to staying exactly where they are. Because on one part, it feels safe, even though they may now unconsciously want to change, want to lose the weight. Unconsciously, I need to stay safe and I need to keep feeding my addiction.
It's
So,
insidious how it all
yeah,
works.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Shiraz, I have to ask you. So, would you say that it's fair to say most people hit their limit, where they put their limit up, their boundary and their belief in whatever it is, they hit what their limit is,
Mhm.
and fall into these addictions to would you say that addiction is usually comes from avoidance?
Yes, sometimes from avoidance and sometimes the exact opposite. So, for instance, we just saw one is avoidance.
Mhm.
On the other side of it, let's say you are struggling to create success.
Mhm.
And as you're struggling, you have family and friends saying, Rochelle, we see you. We love you. We've got your back. We're here. We're going to cheer you on. And now every time someone says that, it feels like love. So now you're not just getting dopamine, you're getting oxytocin, which is the love chemical. So now your body goes, ooh, that feels real good. And it may make this decision that, wait, if I start to succeed, they're not going to tell me that anymore because they don't need to. So I will lose my source of love. I will lose my fix. So I have to keep struggling. So while you keep trying to create success, your unconscious says, don't worry, I'm going to keep you struggling so you keep getting love.
Oh,
Wow.
that's just crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy, and I think why is because it seems so simple. A lot of people my age are people that I was around growing up, it seemed like there was an addiction to drama. Like if there's
Mhm.
not drama happening, we got to create it. We have to even for me when I was little, there's nothing going on, no one's paying attention to anything. I'm going to create a problem.
Yes.
And I'm going to make it have to be that way. Um do you ever have people that do make that switch and they're just like they feel like more empty in a way, like they've lost
Yes.
something?
Yes. Well, they have because they've lost an addiction.
My life is so boring now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. What do I
yeah.
do?
In, in my book, How to Rewrite Reality, I talk about the different genres people live in. So the whole book is metaphors on storytelling. So there at the bottom level is the tragedy genre. Woe is me. There's nothing I can do. My life is a shambles. Above that is the horror genre. Anxiety, fear, what's going to happen? I got to always be watching out. Above that is drama. Above that is documentary. Now, documentary is a higher frequency than drama, but it's called documentary because it's like if you watch one of those nature documentaries of a lion in the wild, you watch the lion go through its day, and then the next day is basically the same thing. And then the next day is the same thing, right? So there's nothing wrong. Everything is fine. But because the drama is gone, it feels worse, right?
Yeah,
Because it's like, now what do I
I
do?
see that.
Except above documentary is action adventure. right? And that's where all the cool stuff starts to happen. And above that is comedy, where you're having fun in everything you do. In action adventure, your goal is to your fix comes from achieving your goals.
Mm.
In comedy, you get a fix just from the experience. This is amazing. Like even in the failures, oh my God, that didn't work out. Let's regroup it. You're having fun. And the very peak is prophecy. So when you are in the prophecy genre, you're like, I'd like this to happen. And then it just happens. Right? Steve Jobs had something called the reality distortion field. Everyone associated that phrase with him because he said, I want to create this. And then all these people sort of figured out how to make it work, even though when he said, I want to create this, they're like, what? No, like, how do you expect to do that?
So it starts with, and victimhood comes in there somewhere. Is that one of
Victimhood
the?
is in the tragedy genre.
Yeah, and that is, some people feel comfortable playing the victim card.
Yes.
Because it gives sympathy that others, they can play that card and people say, oh, you poor thing,
Yes.
look what happened to you, and that gives them the dopamine hit that they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and maybe to not have to take the responsibility. You're right. Poor me. This has nothing to do with me. It's not my fault.
Yeah. And it's a really safe place to be in.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really difficult to get people out of the tragedy genre.
So how many genres did you say that you found?
Tragedy, horror, drama, documentary, action adventure, comedy, and prophecy. 7.
Yeah. That is powerful. What made you realize that like, was that just like through years and years and years of going through this pattern with people, or was it something that you figured out in the beginning that helped you move through these with people?
It's actually amusing because I was writing How to Rewrite Reality,
Mhm.
and while I was writing it, it just clicked in my mind. Oh my God, there are genres. How have I not seen this before? And it just went into the book.
Oh, cool.
And now my clients use that terminology all the time.
So that's one of those things that I believe was a download from beyond, because it was like you weren't thinking of it and you were just right. And then it just kind of showed up, which is how some of the great thoughts of art of all time have come out, is not a well-planned, well-rehearsed thing, but a sudden, hey, what about this? That's kind of how it works, isn't it?
It is exactly how it works. And here's the cool thing about the genres. There's different emotions within each genre.
Mm-hmm.
And people have a default genre, the one they're in the most each day. You're going to jump between different genres throughout the day, but there's one you stay in the most. And within that genre, there's an emotion that you stay in the most. So in drama, you could just be in hostility, right? Or you could be antagonistic, or you could be doing this sort of subtle, kind of, the words are not coming out, subtle antagonism, where you're not acting outright, but you're giving little jabs there. Right? So there's different emotions that are there. And what's actually been shown now, this has been scientifically shown, is that your body gets addicted to the chemicals associated with that emotion. Every emotion causes a chemical release in your body, and your cells actually create receptors for that specific chemical. So let's say your default chemical is frustration. You're frustrated all the time. Your life's not going the way you want. Nothing you do seems to work. Your body's actually addicted to frustration. And let's say you want to change that. And you say, you know what? Screw this. I want to be in joy. I'm going to start being joyful all the time. Well, now when you're in joy, the chemicals for joy are coming into your cells, and they're like, this isn't right. The receptors here are for frustration. So your body actually sends a signal to your brain that says, find a way to make this person frustrated so we can get our fix. Right? And then you get frustrated, and then you're frustrated because you're frustrated again, and your body's like, oh, that feels amazing. You have to actually stay in the new emotion so long that your body gets so starved that it switches the receptors to the new emotion that you're staying in.
Oh, that's just obscene.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's quite a process, and a lot of patience.
Yep.
I've been saying this to Kevin the last few weeks. Like I'm fighting myself.
Mhm.
That is exactly what's happening.
And that's what we do. And it's so important to make a decision on the emotion you want to have and stay in it as long as possible. The one I recommend to everyone is gratitude. There are so many resources in the world for getting into gratitude and staying in gratitude. There's audios, there's books, there's all sorts of things. So getting into gratitude is a great place to find a positive emotion that you can stay in. And from there, it's easier to go to higher level emotions.
And when we come back from this break, because I want you to tell me which one I am, and then we might even delve into which one Brichelle is, as a way of getting an understanding of how the levels work and what you're talking about. And in the meantime, we have a brand new commercial we're going to play, and it's a world, did I say world premiere? And it really is kind of cool. So I hope. If it isn't, you'll tell me that, and then I'll be in a different category than I was before I started. So, well,
Okay.
we will be right back after this important message from us. The Fire That Doesn't Die by Positive Talk Radio. Success never shows up overnight. It tests you. It breaks you. It asks, how much do you want it and how badly do you believe? Amazon answered that question for 9 long years with no profits, only vision. At Positive Talk Radio, our fight began in 2003. Self-funded, no spotlight, no guarantees, only faith that hope and love can change lives. For over 2 decades now, we've kept showing up, keep speaking light into the darkness. And now, hey, we're still here, stronger, louder, inspiring hearts across the world. Because true greatness isn't measured by how fast you rise, but by how long you refuse to fall. And welcome back to Positive Talk. And I'm going to put myself right out there. And Azaz, what did you think?
Oh, it was a great commercial. I loved it.
I haven't even seen that one yet, Kevin. Thanks for the news flash. And good job, team.
It just showed up today, and the team put it out there, and there we are, and stuff. So, okay, so I got to ask you, because I have to admit that I have my share of addictions.
Okay.
None of them are debilitating, and all of them are kind of what I would term as kind of fun, kind of things. And I'm always happy. Generally speaking, Brichelle's seen me angry twice. Oh, I didn't catch the second one. So what if you were to classify someone like me who was pretty much happy all the time and enjoyed life and I hardly ever get depressed and stuff, what category, where would I fit in the 7 hierarchies?
You'd be in comedy.
Well, it's amazing you should say that, because I am in comedy quite a little bit, because I just look in the mirror. I'm kidding. So explain comedy.
In comedy, it's you just have fun in life. You see the humor in everything. You're not afraid to laugh at yourself. And action adventure is all about getting to the next level and getting the goals. And you only feel happy in action adventure when you reach a goal. But in comedy, it's just like life is good the whole way on the journey to the goal. And you'll have setbacks, and you're like, oh, well, we had some setbacks. Let's just regroup and go. You can laugh off a lot of them. And it's just a great place. You are very attractive to other people. They are pulled to that kind of energy. And you typically have a really great life and great business going.
So for people that may be a little stubborn, how do you get from that action and adventure over into, let's kind of just let this be free flowing and enjoy it a little more?
You have to realize that it's not all about achieving the goals, because with action adventure, if you miss a goal, you're dropped into like frustrating, and it's just like, wow, my God, why didn't I get it? But now, because your addiction is to getting those goals, even though you might get frustrated for a little while, your body kicks in, sends signals to your mind. It's like, no, we need to get that fix of achieving the goal. So you keep going. Serial entrepreneurs are in action adventure, right?
Yeah.
And and comedy, it's just like life is good, right?
Yeah.
Is that a good description of me, Rochelle?
I couldn't have said it better. I love that he can categorize that. And a good point too is it just because you may be in one category or another doesn't mean you're necessarily in a bad place. And no matter where you're at, there's always room for growth. Would you agree
Yes,
with that, Shiraz?
absolutely. You can move from genre to genre, and you don't have to go one step at a time. You can jump from the horror genre all the way up to the action adventure or comedy if you set that intention and start taking those steps.
So what is horror genre? I've heard you say
Anxiety, fear, just outright terror, worry about things. Like if that's where you are, you're in the horror genre.
Rochelle.
I just love the way you started smiling when I described the different emotions.
Kevin probably sees me go through every single one of these genres throughout the week more than once.
She does from time to time. And when we first met a year and a half ago, she was, as I describe in one of the things, she was a little scattered. And it was this and that, and this is going wrong, and that drama, and this is, and so I told her, and tell me if this is appropriate to say to somebody who's going through that, just let it be. Or do they look at you and go, how the hell can you say just let it be when all this is going on?
So most of the time they're going to go with that second reaction. So,
she did.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean that doesn't make any sense? If I let everything be, then I have no control. And he's like, yeah, that's the point. You don't have control. And I was like, what? No, you can't say that. That doesn't make any sense. But I've been able to shift my way through all of these, like as we usually do as humans, we go through all these categories. And I think I want to hear your perspective on how exactly you help people not to just get stuck there. Because sometimes we'll be in a category for a few days or a few weeks or a few months or a few years. And what are just basic things that you can do within yourself, coming back to your power to kind of guide yourself and remember that you don't have to stay exactly in what you're feeling?
Well, first of all, you have to make a decision on how you're going to live your life, right? And like, this is a solid thing. This is what's going to happen. Not, I'd like it to happen. I hope it happens. I'll do my best and see what happens. No, this is going to happen.
Right.
And if you're not in that solid place, then you're not fully in your power. You're saying circumstances can change what's going to happen in my life, as opposed to I will create the circumstances in my life. Right. Yeah. And you could look around for evidence of things that are changing for other people and how people have gotten out of their patterns, how they've created success from tragedy. And every time you look at that and lock that in, that's possible, it starts to become possible for you. And, letting go of control. I was in a period of my life for 2 years, I was making $0, like zero. Okay. And
that's why you're so skinny.
Yeah, that's why I'm so skinny.
Just kidding. I'm sorry.
Excuse me. And I had gotten to the point where I was using one credit card to pay off another credit card each month to just keep going. And I got to that place where this is the last payment I can make. And in that space, something said, everything you've been trying to do to control the circumstances, all the anxiety that you're not able to do it right, all that is not working. You've been doing this for 2 years and it has not been working. How about you just let go? Right? Because at this point, it doesn't matter. You've got nowhere else to go. You've got no money. Let's try it. Right?
Yeah. Got nothing else to lose. Let it all go.
Yeah. And so I said, I'm just going to let it go. And in letting it go, it's not like, oh, just whatever. It's just like, no, all the frustration gone, all the worry gone. Just like, let's just see what happens. And like there's an expression, let go and let God. And when I went to that place of just, okay, and just let all that off my shoulders,
Mhm.
2 days later, I got called in for an interview, and a week after that, I got a job for $90,000 a year.
Congratulations. And I got to ask you, because at that moment,
Yeah.
when you landed that job and you recognize, well, okay, let me see. 2 days ago, I decided to let it go and not worry about it. And then 2 days later, I get this killer job. Maybe I should live my life in that way because it seems to be, and I've got evidence to prove it now. It seems to be a lot more successful than what I was doing before. Is that sometimes what we need, is just an example of success based upon a new behavior that we are doing to get rid of the old behavior?
Sometimes.
Uh,
So,
Oh, I
some
thought I was so good
you
too.
you well, what happens is sometimes that happens and people go, "Oh my god, I've been doing it wrong the whole time."
Mhm.
More often, you do that and your mind goes, "Hmm, that was interesting. I wonder if it was a fluke." Right?
Yeah, no, you're right. That's how we do. That's how we as humans roll. Oh,
Yeah.
that can't be the way it is. Can't be that simple.
Yeah.
So, for me, it was, "Okay, this is how I need to live my life." And that doesn't mean that that's how I always live my life. There are times where I'm frustrated and anxious and like, "Why isn't this working?" Because I forget. But 90% of the time in my life, it's just, let's just see what happens. And my mantra is everything always works out for me. Right. And my it happens so often that my friends just repeat it back to me. It's like, "Oh, again?" Because everything always works out for you. Right. So
You're like,
and
you don't know what I did to get here, though.
so
isn't it a little frustrating when, oh yeah, everything just works out for you. It doesn't
Yeah.
work out for me though. And that's a little frustrating, isn't it? Because anybody can do it.
They
anyone
choose
can
it.
do that.
Yeah.
Here's the fun part about that is your mind takes in all the information that's coming at you and it hits the subconscious over and over again. So if all my friends are saying everything always works out for you, what's going into my subconscious mind every time they say, whether they're happy or whether they're frustrated? Right?
It's a win-win situation, I guess, on
Yeah.
both sides. And I have to ask you this, Shiraz, because it's something I've been saying, and I think I know you'll understand it in a point where you can break it down and make it make sense, because I haven't
Mhm.
been able to yet. But Kevin taught me to let it be, and I fought against that, of course, for months, like I had to. But what I realized is when I was more willing to surrender everything outside of myself, I
Mhm.
started to be more in control. Um, it felt like of things around me, let alone just myself.
Yeah.
Why is it that way?
Because your outside mimics your inside, right? So because everything works out for me, like these serendipitous magical moments keep happening. Like I'll have double booked two people and I'll sit there and go, "Oh, I need to change that." But then I won't actually do it. And then one of them will call me and say, "I need to change the appointment." And I'm like, "Sure, let's just do that." And so now it wasn't my fault anymore. It was
Yeah.
right.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
it's like you're telling the universe, okay, you can give me this, or I
yeah,
accept this, right? Because what you tell your brain is your reality.
yeah. And if you are stable, if you are happy, if you are confident inside, then everything outside starts to match that.
Mm,
And the way I look at you, the way you want to do life is if you're on this boat on a river, just like a small boat on the river, so it can just be taken by the current. All you've got is a control of the rudder, so you can't make it go faster, slower. You can just control the rudder. That's going down the river of life. And as you're going down the river of life, there are things on both sides of the river that come up. And so you can just guide over and say, "I'm going to grab this." Oh, and there's something with the I'll guide there. But the river is doing all the work and bringing all the things. Now, what happens is people are on the river, but the thing they want, they've already passed. So now they're like, "Let's paddle. Come on. I got to get." And the river's got more stuff down there, but you're not saying, "Oh, there's more stuff there. I got to go back and get that." And there's all this effort going into, even though the river's going to give you everything you want.
yeah. And
Why?
here's a good
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say it's crazy how you saying that is such a good way to view it, because as you're focused on trying to go back, you're not paying attention to the next boulder coming up, and that hits you, and the
Yep.
next one hits you, and then everything starts to pile up, and then you're, crashing down the river, wondering how you got in that position.
Yep. And you're blaming the river.
Yeah, it's the river's fault. Like last show I mentioned baseball player, and what are you going to do when the wind comes through? You're going to blame it on the wind?
To blame it on the rain.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and some of us then we look at it and we say, okay, this is what I'd like to do, but it's not working out. And so I go, and they're going back to where they were before, and they're not staying with it because is it because they don't have the physical proof, or they don't have the faith or the knowing? Is it because of conditioning from our childhood that says you're not good enough for any of that? It doesn't matter what you do. You're going to suck at it, and kind of thing.
Yeah, it's all of that.
Oh.
And it all depends on your upbringing and how many different layers there are on you. And that keeps you from moving into this new space because there's so much evidence of the old. The thing that most people don't realize is that you put the evidence there. Right? So,
and somebody's gonna, no, I didn't. I did not. No, you're wrong. I didn't do that.
That wasn't my fault.
Exactly.
well, here's an example. Do we have time for an example?
I've got to take a real quick break, but why don't we save your example for when we come back? And then we're talking with Shiraz, correct?
Yes.
And he's the reality interventionalist, and he will intervene in what you perceive to be your reality, because it might not even be your reality. It might be just some story you keep telling yourself. And we'll be right back.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
As you go about your daily life, look closer. As you gather with family and friends who love and support you, look closer. There are youth right in your community who don't have the home, warmth, and healing you have. So look closer. Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. And for 50 years, Covenant House has worked relentlessly to keep them safe and protected. Tonight, 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed. And tomorrow, they will wake up surrounded by love. They get clean clothes, hot meals, medical care, and a safe place to sleep. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In sites across America to help them fulfill the great promise of their lives. So look closer at Covenant House. To help or get help, go to covenanthouse.org.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Rochelle, I had to laugh. You were taking a drink from your coffee cup during the break, and that thing's almost as big as your head.
No, it's not. I just have a small head. I have something bigger than this.
We're talking to Shiraz. He's the reality interventionalist. And I can even say that. I was pretty impressed with myself. And go to energeticmagic.com and you can find out all about him. He actually, and I'm not supposed to say this, but I'm going to anyway. He's got an event that's starting, a 3-day event that starts tomorrow. And if you hurry, and if you're listening to this a little while from now, and it's still today, and it's not tomorrow yet, you go to his website, which again is energeticmagic.com. You might be able to get in. Who knows? But anyway, Rochelle, you had a great question for Shiraz, and would you ask it again, please?
Yes. So I want you to give your example of where you were following up with, and then I want to kind of touch base on what you get to choose is real or not. Like as we've been having this conversation, you've been seeing me probably look all around. I had a hummingbird nearly almost land on me while you were talking about what your beliefs are and what you think is possible. and I'm sitting by this big blowy pink blow up thing for the pool, and this hummingbird is loving our conversation. So it's one of those things I could say, that's just a thing, but the energy is real. So
It's
go
real.
ahead and give your example.
It's actually a lot of times when I'm having conversations with people, animals come into the room.
Yes.
It happens all.
They do.
So, yeah, that's my reality. Excuse me. Welcome. So, the story I was talking about was the story is actually in my book, How to Rewrite Reality. Imagine a little girl on a playground, and but she's just sitting off to the side, and the other kids are playing. And then a little boy comes up and hits her and laughs and runs away. Okay. Now we don't know why he hit her. It could be that he likes her, because little boys tend to hit little girls that they like just to get the attention. It could be that a game of tag is going on and she doesn't know and they're trying to get in. It could be that he got dared to go up and hit her. We don't know. We just know that he hit her and laughed and ran away. She makes a decision. Oh, boys don't like me. Now that's the inciting incident. She makes that decision, decides what that whole experience was about, and then creates a belief. Boys don't like me. So now, anytime a boy is mean to her, she gets to be right. See, boys don't like me. Anytime a boy is nice to her, she doesn't get validation the other way. She goes, what's he up to? Because boys don't like me. There's got to be something here that I'm not seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And if the boys are just neutral to her, it's just white noise. So this is how she goes through school now. Except now when she's older and she wants to date, she is attracted to guys that will reject her because it validates her story. Boys don't like me. And there could be this amazing guy that's so into her and she's like, not attracted. He just doesn't do it for me. Right? So, and then
I've never heard that before.
Never. And then finally, when she's in the workforce, she will choose a job that has a misogynistic boss because boys don't like me. And then if people ask her, why do you think boys don't like me? She'll list every bit of evidence throughout her life that boys don't like, and she'll be right, except she excludes every bit of evidence that she's wrong because it didn't go into her conscious mind. You have, once she realizes that that's her evidence, her story, then she can change the story. But as long as it's just life, it's just the way it's been all my life since I was 6 years old when she was on that playground. That's where she stuck.
So it's almost like putting filters. She ran everything through that filter.
Yes. Yes. And people, we do this all the time. You don't see things that are right in front of you. I was having an argument. I was at a singles event and I was having an argument with a woman. There were four guys at this table and 2 girls. And the 3 other guys got into a conversation about sports, and I'm not into sports. So I'm like, I'm going to talk to the 2 girls at a singles event. That seems like the smart thing to do. And as we're talking, one of the women says, the hardest thing for women dating now is there's twice as many single women as there are single men. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we're in a city of millions. Its average is 50-50, unless some women are hoarding all the men. And I don't think that's going on. And she looks at me and she goes, look, even now there's 2 of us and 1 of you. So if we were both interested in you, we'd have to fight over you. And I looked at her, I said, there are 4 guys at this table. And it was like for the first time she's seeing the other 3 guys. It broke her brain because she was seeing through her filter.
And we do that all the time.
They were 5 feet away, right?
Yeah. Well, and as you're talking about these things, I'm thinking about how many of us self-sabotage ourselves in relationships with other people and how they perceive it and how they take it. And, they put it through their filter. Yep. And rather than kind of like what happens when you just drop that filter and you, let me ask you this, in order to do that in your relationships, and if you want to change the way you're viewing people, you have to do that with yourself first, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Self-accountability,
I bet
is hard.
Yeah, most people are not honest with who they are because you want to be the hero in your story. And sometimes you're the villain and you just don't want to see it.
Yeah. Kevin, you've never been the villain.
Oh no, I have to own up to it. I have. There have been times when I tell a story that may not be true, or a relationship or whatever. I don't want to go into details, but nobody's perfect. and everybody's got moments in time. Now I try and live my life as a happy-go-lucky kind of, and that's kind of like in my DNA. But still, there are times when somebody will piss me off. Doesn't happen often, but when that happens, it's not good. It's not good. So, but that's all stories that we tell ourselves. But a lot of times we don't get it, and we need a coach. We need somebody outside of ourselves that isn't our family, isn't our close friends, that don't want to hurt our feelings. We need somebody to tell us the truth about what we're saying. And it's okay, no, that's a bunch of bull crap that you're just telling me because that's what you want me to hear. And this isn't what I'm hearing. So this is what I'm hearing. And then you tell them, do you find that that is a great way for people to gain awareness of who they are and what they're doing?
Yes, absolutely. Because it's basically like you need an intervention as to how you're running your life.
Oh, maybe that's why you call yourself the interventionalist.
Yes, isn't that crazy? Well, and for people to make that change too, how you mentioned like they're fighting themselves and working with them because you're like restructuring who you are in your reality, right? Because
Yes.
if you don't change, like have you ever seen somebody who has made it a long period being able to manipulate themselves into thinking they were in that routine somehow, and then because I see that happening, like, do you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes
Yep.
somebody will be like, I'm on track and I'm doing it, but then those outside people that come in, like you said, and they will validate what they see. We don't
Mhm.
necessarily always have to listen to everybody and take it with a grain of salt, but also if you're hearing things and you're confused because you think you're in the right space and you're not getting the same repercussion back, like,
Mhm.
where do you evaluate that? How do you make that change?
You have to look at this beliefs as a Jenga tower. So you have these different beliefs that all support like a bigger belief. So it's hard to make money. Money corrupts you. Paying taxes sucks. You can put all these blocks together as to reasons you don't want to make money.
Yeah.
And then you start to change and you start pulling these beliefs out.
Mm-hmm.
And so now life starts to change. As soon as you start pulling those beliefs out, your life starts to change. But the tower is still there. It hasn't fallen yet.
Yes.
So now when these outside beliefs comes, these outside forces say these things that are match those blocks that you pulled out, you start putting them back.
Mm.
And then you watch yourself go back to your old life.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stay in this long enough that so many blocks are gone that the tower falls. And once that tower has fallen, then outside forces come in and you're like, nope, that's not who I am anymore.
So would it be fair to say that if you're trying to change, you need to be ready for what is about to come face to face with you for a while before it gets easier?
On average, it takes about 6 months to get over an addiction.
It's not that long, honestly.
It's not that long, except that here's the thing. If you have a bad day and you fall back in, you're back to day one. So,
Oh my Lord.
yeah.
Never
And,
mind.
and that's one of the things that if you do not work with the cause of why that addiction exists, then it's white knuckling it,
Mhm.
and it isn't solving it. If you solve it, 6 months comes and go. Oh, did that come by already? 6 months? But if you're white knuckling it, it's like, this is day 69 and a half, and I'm ready to kill somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what happens with a lot of people. Because your body is physically fighting you to hold on to the addiction.
So when you
Yeah,
start to
I
let go of
think.
one, does it bring up others that also at the same time need to all of a sudden be let go of?
Not really, actually. So it can, if you're doing the work, you'll find more and you can release them all.
Right.
The thing I found is easier is it takes less time to transfer an addiction.
Yes.
Okay? So I used to work hard all the time. And it wasn't because I was taught you have to work hard to succeed. It was just pure ego. If you work an extra hour, Michelle, I will work too. If you say you're going to stay all later on tonight, I'll go all night, just to say, look, I work harder than everyone else, and it was burning me out. And finally, I realized, well, this is an addiction. I'm getting my dopamine hit every time I work harder than someone. What if I say, I'm going to get my hit from every time something goes really easily? So now I'm looking for opportunities for things to become easy. And every time something became easy, I anchored that out. Yes, to force a dopamine hit on myself. And I kept doing it. Yes, another one. Yes, it's like hitting the easy button, the Staples easy button. And now, for the most part, everything is easy for me. And I get that fix on a regular basis. And when things are hard, it's like, this is not the way it's supposed to be. You've got to make it easy again. And so the easy opportunities show up. So I just switched the addiction over, because your body's always going to be an addiction. It does that to maintain homeostasis so that you live.
Mhm.
So once you get it, that you're always going to be an addiction, now you want to say, what addictions do I want?
And so when you're talking to friends and family and things are now easy for you, and they say, oh, it's just, life is just so easy for you, and neglect to remember all the difficulty you had making that switch and all the things that you had to do. They weren't there for that part necessarily. And so they're just now, oh, things are easy for you and stuff, and they disregard it. How does that make you feel?
That's their problem.
Yeah, sucks for you. I wish you would have made that change. And that, bringing that up, I want to talk about that when we come back from this last break. I have heard a lot of people say recently to me that I'm manipulating myself, or I am being fake in how I feel or something, because I'm not handling it the way I used to, and I'm trying to restructure that. And you're right, I am manipulating the hell out of myself, but I'm trying to do it in a positive way, to reinforce how I want my future. So can we please talk about that when we come back?
And we will be right back. Listen to this, everybody, and I would love your opinion, young man. The strength of staying kind from your friends at Positive Talk Radio. Kindness is not weakness. It takes real strength to stay kind in a world that often rewards anger, ego, and control. Being kind means choosing to act from your values, not your wounds. It means showing grace even when no one's watching. But kindness doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean letting people take advantage of your time, your energy, or your peace. You can be kind and still say no. You have a soft heart with firm boundaries. The strongest people I know are the ones who choose compassion without losing themselves. They've been hurt. They've been tested. And still, they choose to love and lead and to lift others anyway. Kindness is not about pleasing everybody. It's about honoring who you are and how you treat others, even when it's hard. So stay kind, stay human, and stay strong. And always remember this: be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got. And welcome back to Positive Talk. I got to tell you, Azaz, I'm really proud of that little piece that we do, because that kind of is my mantra: be kind to one another. And I say it after every show, because I really believe that kindness can change the world. Not easy, well, kindness can change the world. I'll leave it there. What do you think? Well, first of all, answer Michelle's question about...
Yes. Just really, there is a positive way in to manipulate yourself into the change, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're being fake, right?
That's correct. Here's what happens is, when you change, you are no longer the person everyone is comfortable with.
Yep.
Whether it's for the better or for worse, you are not the person everyone's comfortable with. So they will try to get you to change back so that they can feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Right. So everything they're saying to you, it's like, you're manipulating yourself. They may not even realize it because it's unconscious. I need to get her to be who I'm used to.
Mhm.
So when they do that, you just have to say, oh, look, it must be working. Because they're getting upset.
Yeah, it's like, oh, let's try to get a reaction. Let's say this way. Let's ask a question 5 times, just in a different way, to see if she finally breaks. And I think sometimes also for people, though, it can, depending on the way they take it, like we can look at everything from one perspective or the other. But also there is those people that I can appreciate a little bit more, because it's like, I've seen that you're doing this way, and it makes absolutely no sense to me, but it seems like it's working a little bit better. Like, you just seem healthier. And that also feels good. That dopamine hit for me, oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
I am healthy and I am prospering and I'm growing.
Nice.
And also to see, you know, like even people come to times when you could be your best and you're doing your changes and this and that, and then what, life happens, something comes up, and people are watching all those things you've worked on, and now how is this one situation going to be handled? And they learn from that, and you as a person get to decide, do I want to have this person around continuously trying to pull me back that direction, or do I need to understand that they don't understand something, whether they are trying to do it out of love or not, and kind of just make a boundary and a space to let them know, hey, I need to walk away if you don't understand this, because that's not on my path. And that's hard to do. It really is.
One of the
Well,
things I teach is be willing to let go of anyone or anything holding you back or keeping you stuck. And that's really hard when it comes to family.
Mhm.
But it's also hard when it comes to a bunch of your beliefs, because you're like, well, that belief has served me for so long. And I'm like, has it? Has it?
Yeah.
well, and I gotta tell you, Shiraz, that I feel sorry for Purcell a little bit, because she can't go back because she thinks she's going to go back, and then she comes on this show and we talk to someone like you, and then she realizes I can't go back,
Okay.
and stuff. So but that's the universe's divine plan, is for her to become the human being that I know deep down inside she is totally capable of, and is able to do some remarkable things. She just doesn't know it all yet.
Starting to figure it out, I think.
Well, this is one of the biggest fears people have, is that if I go down this path, I'm going to change, I'm going to lose myself. And that is because you will, because the self you are is attracting everything that's coming in. You have to lose that self to attract everything you want. And the self you are is actually just a shell over the true you. The true you was there when you were a baby, like wide-eyed, ready to create anything, just loving the world. And then you've got all these beliefs piled down on top of you. It's like, oh, you got to be careful, and you got to fit in, and you got all these things got put on. And that's who you think you are now. And you got to remove all that and find the real you underneath.
Shiraz,
But it's
have you ever had somebody come to you and tell you, if I changed into the person I want to be, then I would be alone?
all the time.
What do you tell them?
That's crap. so
You'll
so
attract new people, right?
well, you will attract who aligns to you, right? That is inevitable. You will always attract who aligns to you. And it doesn't matter if you're a good person or a bad person. You see some of the worst people in the world, and they've got friends. They've got people who love them. And the same thing with the best people in the world. So it doesn't matter who you change into. The people that align with that new you will always show up. You'll never be alone unless you decide, I will be alone. Then you will create that reality.
Kevin,
Yep,
we're going to
that's
throw a party at your house next weekend. Everybody be there.
well. See, and that's the thing, is that you, once you understand. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Shiraz, but once you understand that you can create your own reality, and even if you're alone, you're not alone.
No.
I've never alone ever, and I live alone. And so people go, oh, that poor man, he lives alone and you must not have any friends. It's like, that's not the case. I choose my lifestyle because it suits me. It makes, and so that makes me happy. That gives me the dopamine hit, is when I can walk into my house and there's nobody else. Now, maybe it was because of my prior experiences with people, but like my former wife and stuff. But I can walk into my house and go, I'm home, and nobody is going to ruin my day now that I'm home.
There is one thing, though, Kevin. Can I call you out? Can I please?
Uh-oh. Yes,
I do
ma'am.
want to ask you, Shiraz. This is one thing that comes up a lot, and I want to know what it would, just something that could possibly change this. Kevin says, you know why I don't get sick? Because I don't leave my house.
Oh.
This man will do anything to avoid any sickness.
Okay.
What would it take to change him going out without getting the fear of being sick? And if he did, would that cause him to be more likely to get sick when he started going out?
So if he's going out from a place of fear, that affects his body, it weakens his immune system, and it makes him more likely to get sick. If he goes out from a place of happiness, of adventure, that strengthens his immune system, and he gets sick way less often.
Well,
Right?
and then comes into the Shiraz. I've been on the planet for a little while now, and I was a bartender, and I was in the restaurant business, so I don't really want to go out to eat, and I
Yes.
don't want to go to sit in a bar, and I don't dance, and I don't sing. I don't sing karaoke, and
That's the point. So
So
yeah.
boring, huh?
And so I don't. Those are the things that I just choose not to do. And I haven't been
so
sick in it.
of the 10 million possible things in the world, you've listed like 6 of them. And that's why you don't go out.
I
Kevin,
have to get.
wait. You are wrong, and I can prove it because me and my family drug him out of his house for days. I went into his space with my asthma and my allergies and all these things, and he went out into an entire mall and ate out and did all those things, and you didn't get sick when I left, did you?
No, I never get sick. That's
Because of where your mind was, though. I think that's a good point because we do that all the time. It's like, my mom used to be this person about, go to the grocery store. Grocery store was just a stressful experience. It was like, I didn't really like shopping because the experiences that I got when I was younger from it. But the days when it wasn't the intention of setting stress were the days I remembered most because there was an experience that stayed with me that was so meaningful. Because without that filter put in place, it allowed other things to come through. And I want to end the show by asking you this. If you're putting up blockers and filters in your mind about how you're perceiving things and your view, does that also affect your ability to tap into your intuition and see the things that are there that are prospering for you?
Yeah, absolutely. You're just going to see what you want to see. That's how everyone lives in the world until you learn that there's a lot more. So once you get to a higher level of awareness, you'll start to see things that are outside of what you want to see for good or for bad. And you're like, oh, that's also going on in the world. And if you're not in reaction to it, you can say, oh, there's a good thing I just never noticed before. I'm going to tap into that. And if there's a bad thing, well, there's a bad thing I've never noticed, but I'll just not tap into that and just keep going and seeing what else is there. And the excitement becomes from what new awarenesses are out there that I've never even contemplated. And that's when you start seeing a whole different world that is the exact same place that was there before. But now it's like, how did I not see this? This is amazing.
Yep.
okay. You see, I don't want to get on an airplane, and I used to travel for a living, and I don't want to stay in a hotel. I used to stay in hotels all the time. Okay, so that's 8 things now. I'm going to be adding more as we go here, but
So why not, instead of that, start thinking what would be a great reason to go out rather than all the reasons not to go out?
well, now there's the quandary. I haven't found one of those yet.
Okay.
And
Go
I
Go
don't
find a bug.
go find. Oh, I wish we had time for this story, but maybe next time. Shiraz, you got to tell us how to get a hold of you, all the things that they can do for the Reality Interventionist.
So if you just go to energeticmagic.com, everything is there. And even on the homepage, I do a monthly workshop where I shift your beliefs in the moment. People come out of that class transformed. It's a 90-minute class, and you can go there. It's called the Coach's Money Mindset Reset. It's not just for coaches, but it will reset your views on money, success, and start you making a lot more.
See, and I would go there, and I don't even have to leave my house. So I'm happy with that. That's really.
There's the hit.
That's exactly right. Rochelle, you've been dynamite this show, and Shiraz, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Shiraz, so much for your time.
Thank you. For
Any
having me.
last words of wisdom for anybody that we care that you can reach right now?
Don't be afraid to be the happiest person in the room. The happiest person sets the level of happiness for the rest of the room.
That is so true. When I was driving a bus, I learned that I could affect the attitude of 70 people who didn't like each other. It's amazing. Shiraz, thank you so much. Purcell, thank you so much. We've had a great day today, and we're going to have a great day tomorrow as well. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got.